Hello students, welcome you all in the lecture series of strength of material. Today we are going to discuss the one of the important topic of the strength of material is the elongation. Okay. So in this elongation, due to application of load, the length of the member increases, and now we have to calculate the increased length of a member. Okay. Let's say we are having a simple member, okay, and we have applied load to this member, and due to application of load the length of the member will increase if the load is tensile in nature, and if the load is compressive in nature then the length of the member will decrease. So this topic we have to cover. Okay. So if we have a member, let's say we have a member, okay, dimensions of the members are given. Okay, let's say the applicable load is P. A is the cross sectional area of the material, L is the length of the bar, and E is the Young's modulus of the material used in this bar. Okay. So due to application of load, the length of the member will increase, the diameter of the member will decrease. Okay. So here we are going to use the properties of, means the elastic constants which we have last time studied. Let's say up to proportional limit. Okay, up to proportional limit, stress is equal to E into strain. Longitudinal stress is directly proportional to longitudinal strain. Okay, this stress we can write P by area. Okay, because this stress generated is the resisting force per unit area, and we assume that the resisting force is equal to the applied load. Okay, this will be E strain, longitudinal strain, and the longitudinal strain is the change in the length, means let's say del is the change in the length divided by original length. Okay, del is the change in the length, del will be equal to L final minus L initial. Okay, so we can calculate P into L divided by AE equal to the value of del. Okay, so the del is the change in the length, so the change in the length means the elongation. Okay, so we can say del is equal to PL divided by AE, where P is the applied load, L is the original length of the member, A the cross sectional area, and E the material properties. Okay, so with the help of that one we can calculate the length of the member increased in the length of the member. Okay, we will do some numerical on this formula, okay, later on. Now this is the elongation part. Okay, now we will discuss some cases. Okay, some cases. The first case, when we are having compound bar. See, this is the simple bar and we are having the compound bar. Compound bar can be when the members are in series. Okay, when the members are in series, or the second case when the members are in parallel. So first case we are discussing, the members are in series. Okay, so let's say this is our compound bar. Why this is compound bar? Because the cross sectional area is increasing, decreasing. Okay, let's say this is the member 1, this is the member 2, and this is the member 3. The cross sectional area for member 1 is different, so here I am writing the given quantities. Let's say A1 is the area corresponding to member 1, A1, E1 is the material corresponding to 1. Okay, E1 is the material property. Okay, and L1 is the length of the member 1. Okay, corresponding to member 2 we are having A2, E2 and L2, A2, E2 and L2, and third one is A3, E3 and L3. These are the given quantities as we have the single bar, as we have taken for the single bar. Now we are having the composite bar, and in composite bar we are having three materials: material 1, material 2, material 3. Cross sectional area is different, length of the member is different, and there is one force is acting on the member. For the complete member, load P is acting, load P is acting. Okay, the member is in equilibrium. Why the member is in equilibrium? Because summation of all the forces acting in x direction is 0. P is acting here, P is acting here, so the member is in equilibrium. There is no force in the y direction and there is no movement. So we can say the whole composite bar is in equilibrium. Okay, the whole composite bar is in equilibrium. Now due to application of load P, we have to calculate the total elongation in the bar. Here we have taken the single bar, so the formula is developed this one. Now we have to calculate the elongation, total elongation. So we can say that the total elongation is equal to elongation in member 1, okay, elongation in member 1 plus elongation in member 2 plus elongation in member 3 plus elongation in member 3. If we have 4 members, then we can say del 1, del 2, del 1 plus del 2 plus del 3 plus del 4. If we are having n number of members, then del 1 plus del 2 plus del 3 plus dot 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 del n. Okay. Now what is the value of del 1? Del 1 we can calculate from here. Del 1 will be equal to P1 L1 divided by A1 E1. What will be the value of del 2? P2 L2 divided by A2 E2. And what will be the value of del 3? Will be equal to P3 L3 divided by A3 E3. Okay. So we have to calculate all these values of del 1 plus del 2 plus del 3, and del 1 is P1 L1 divided by A1 E1, P2 L2 divided by A2 E2 plus P3 L3 divided by A3 E3. Now all the quantities L1 A1 E1, L2 A2 E2, L3 A3 E3 is given. So we have to calculate, for calculating the total elongation, we have to calculate the value of P1, we have to calculate the value of P2, and we have to calculate the value of P3. So if we are having the value of P1, P2 and P3, we can solve the numerical. Okay, we can calculate the total elongation. Now how we are going to calculate the P1, P2, P3? This is very important. So in competitive examination also the question have asked from this topic, calculate the total elongation. So if we have to calculate the total elongation, the first method of calculating P1, P2, P3 is the free body diagram. Okay, free body diagram. Okay, with the help of free body diagram we can calculate P1, P2, P3, and by putting the value of P1, P2, P3 we can calculate, we can solve the numerical, we can calculate the total elongation. Now free body diagram. Free body diagram is the diagram where all the contact surfaces are removed, and we designate all the acting forces and all the reacting forces. Okay, so we will start from either left hand side or on the right hand side. This is the important part. We have to start either from the left hand side or on the right hand side. So let's say this is the member 1. Okay, if the whole component is equilibrium, then we can say each and every component will also be in equilibrium. So here load P is acting. Okay, so here load P is acting in the positive x direction. So on the member 1, the P will act in the negative x direction. Okay, the P will act in the negative x direction. Now draw the member 2. Okay, now in the member 2, at this phase we don't have any force, because the plus x direction will equate the negative x direction, means the same amount of force will act on member 2 but in the opposite direction. So this is acting in the negative x direction, so the equal and opposite force will act in the positive x direction. The member is in equilibrium, so here we will have the P. Okay. If this is P, then this one also be the P. Now the third member. In the third member again there is no force, means there will be one force in the opposite and equal in amount, and here the load P will act. Okay. So this is the three part. So we can say P1 means the load acting on the member 1 is nothing but P, and P2 is nothing but P, and P3 is nothing but P. So we can say P1 equal to P2 equal to P3 is equal to P. The total elongation we can calculate. Now we have all the values of P. Total elongation will be equal to P L1 divided by A1 E1 plus P L2 divided by A2 E2 plus P L3 divided by A3 and E3. With the help of this one, we can calculate the total elongation. Okay. So the first method is the free body diagram. Okay. With the help of we will draw the free body diagram of each and every component, and with the help of each and every component we will calculate the value of load acting on each and every member P1, P2, P3. The second method is the method of section. Okay. So this method of section we are going to use, because the method of section is very short method, and there are chances of exact value we can get from the method of section. Okay. So what we are going to do in method of section. Okay. In method of section, with the help of method of section we can solve any numerical. Okay. And with accuracy we can solve the problems of elongation. Okay. In method of section, what we have to do, we have to start either from the left hand side or on the right hand side. Okay. We will put our hand like this. Okay. And we will observe that what amount of force is acting in on the either left hand side or on the right hand side. We will do on the right hand side. Right hand side we are looking only one force P is acting. So P1 will be equal to P. Okay. Now put your hand on the middle of element 2. Okay. Element 2 or the body 2. Then what we are seeing? We are seeing that there is only one force P is acting in the right hand direction. Okay. Now we have to observe the whole component. Okay. Whole component from half of the component 2. Okay. So we have P, means P2 will be equal to P. Now this one we have to look only on the right, either on the right hand direction or on the left hand direction. So we are observing on the right hand direction. So by putting hand on the member 3, we can observe that, oh yes, there is only one force P is acting. So P3 will also be equal to P. Okay. So we can observe that P1 is equal to P, P2 is equal to P, and P3 is equal to P. Okay. So we can calculate the amount of force acting on the member by very easy method. Okay. And method of section. So we are going to use method of section. Okay. Now the one problem we are taking, let's say we have again the composite bar. The composite bar we are having, and on this bar, now bar can be of any direction. Okay. Any dimensions of bar can be given. Okay. So we are having this bar. Okay. The cross sectional area is varying. Here is let's say member 1. So the material is given A1 E1 L1, A1 E1 L1, A2 E2 L2, okay, and A3 E3 L3. Okay. Now the load is acting. Now observe the load. Any kind of loading can be given. Here P4 load is acting. Okay. on the surface of 1, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. On this surface, one force is given like that. Okay, this is P3, this is, let's say, P4, this is P3, and on this surface one load P2 is also given, and here the load given is P1. So P1, P2, P3, P4. Now the four forces are given. We have to calculate the total elongation. Total elongation is equal to elongation in 1 plus elongation in 2 plus elongation in 3. Ultimate object is we have to calculate P1 L1 divided by A1 E1 plus P2 L2 divided by A2 E2 plus P3 L3 divided by A3 E3. Okay. Ultimate object is all the quantities are given. We have to calculate P1, P2 and P3. We have to calculate P1, P2 and P3. Okay. So again, P1 is the load acting on the member 1. P2 is load acting on the member 2. This is member 2, this is member 1 and this is member 3. Load acting on the member 3, member 2 and member 1. So if we are going for the free body diagram, it will take time, and with the help of method of section we can observe all the forces very clearly. Okay. So what we will do, the basic method is same. Put your hand. What we are observing? We are observing that this is the positive x direction, okay, and this is the positive y direction. This is positive x, this is negative x direction. Okay. So force P4 is acting in the positive x direction. Okay. So we will take this one is positive in nature. So P1 is equal to P4. We have to look either on the right hand direction or on the left hand direction. Okay. So we are observing towards the right hand direction. Here P4 is acting. Okay. On the member 1 we have force P4 is acting in positive x direction. Now put your hand on the middle of two member. So what we are observing, P4 is acting in the positive direction, but this P3 is acting towards the negative x direction. Okay. So the value P2 will be equal to P4, we will take positive, minus P3 we will take negative, because P3 is acting towards the minus x direction. So we have taken P3 negative. Now put your hand on the third member. What we are observing, P4 positive, P3 negative and P2 is again positive. So P3 will be equal to, so okay, let's say there are some confusion because we are having P1. Let's say this one is P1 dash, the members are dash dash. So P1 dash, here we have P2 dash, we have taken P3 dash. So P3 dash will be equal to P4 positive minus P3 negative minus P2 means plus P2 positive x direction, plus minus plus. We don't have to observe either in the left hand direction. Okay. And this P3 dash, if we have observed from the left hand direction, so here on this member P3 dash is acting, and we can say here P1 is acting. So we don't have required this value, but if the value of P1 has asked, then we can say yes, P1 is equal to P4, P1 is equal to P3 dash, because P1 is equal to P3 dash equal to P4 minus P3 minus P2. Okay. So we have observed, we have measured all the values what we have required, P1 dash, P2 dash, P3 dash, okay, dash dash value. So we have P1 dash, we will put P1 dash here, P2 dash we will put here, P3 dash we will put here. So I am trying to understand you, I am trying to calculate the value of all the forces which are acting on the component 1, component 2 and component 3. Component 1, put your hand, measure all the forces in the right hand direction. This is the shortest method. On the right hand direction we have P4. Yes, P4 is acting positive x direction, so that will be plus P4 here. P4 minus P3, because P3 is negative x direction. Here we have P4 minus P3 minus P4 minus P3 plus P2, and this is the P3 dash, and this P3 dash will be equal to P. Okay. So with the help of that one we can calculate all the values. We will solve some numerical on this one. Now this part, when we have components of different cross sectional areas. Okay. Now one more case is when we are having, okay, for let's say this part we have already solved. If we have a member, this load P is acting, and here cross sectional area is A1, then cross sectional area A1 material cross sectional area A1 material is E, cross sectional area A1 material is E, and the length of the member is L, then elongation is equal to PL divided by AE. Okay. These members whose cross sectional area, okay, cross sectional area means this area, okay, whose cross sectional area remains constant throughout the length are known as prismatic members. Okay. Prismatic members or prismatic bar. Okay. Prismatic member or prismatic bar whose cross sectional area remains constant throughout the length. Okay. Let's say one more case. Let's say this one case we have discussed, case 1. Now second case can be, now the cross sectional area is varying, okay, and the variation is uniform. Okay. There is uniform variation of the cross sectional area. Okay. Uniform variation of the cross sectional area in the length. Okay. So if we are having the variation in the cross sectional area along the length, these bars are known as the tapered bar. Okay. So here we are going to discuss elongation of a tapered bar under axial loading. Okay. Axial loading means the loading which are acting, which are perpendicular to the cross sectional area is acting in the axial direction. Okay. So tapered bar are those bar whose cross sectional area varies uniformly, like this is the tapered bar whose cross sectional area is varying with respect to length, along the length, whose cross sectional area is varying with respect to length or along the length. Along the length means the cross sectional area is varying. Okay. And the variation is uniform variation. Okay. Straight line variation. So we can say if we are having a member whose cross sectional area is varying and we are having axial load. Okay. Axial load means the load P is acting here and the load P is acting here. Now we have to calculate the diameter of smaller section is small d, the diameter of the larger section is d, means, and the length of the member is given L, and E is the Young's modulus of the material is given. So we have a member, okay, the material of member is E, we can say the Young's modulus of the material is given, whose diameter is varying from D to D in the length L. Load P is acting. Now due to action of the load, the length of the member will increase. Okay. Or if we have compressive load, then the length of the member will decrease. Now we have to calculate elongation of a tapered bar. Okay. So these kind of problems we have to solve. Okay. This derivation is important. Sometimes in your university exam, this derivation can be asked. Okay. So we have to calculate the elongation in tapered bar. Okay. So be careful, that now we have to calculate elongation in the tapered bar. Okay, now the cross sectional area, the formula, our formula is del is equal to PL divided by AE. Okay, PL divided by AE. This load P, okay, if we have taken this section, again load P is acting, here again load P is acting, so the load will remain the same. Okay, load will remains the same. Length of the member is, okay, we have taken the length L, so this will also constant. Now the area, this cross sectional area, okay, this cross sectional area is varying. Okay, here we are having the cross sectional area, this one like this. Here we are having the cross sectional area whose diameter is given D. Here we are having the larger section and whose diameter is given capital D, whose diameter is given capital D. Okay, this is the capital D. Each and every section, at each and every section the diameter is changing. Okay, now so we are having this area, cross sectional area is changing. E is the material property that will remain constant. So this area is changing. Whenever we are having continuous change in area, so we will go for the differential terms. Okay, now how we are going to solve this one? Okay, whenever there is change, okay, and the change is occurring in the direction of length. Okay, so what we are going to do, we will go for a section. Okay, whenever we are having variation, then the differential terms comes into the picture. So we will take one section, okay, and the section is taken in such a way that section we have taken at a distance x of thickness dx. We have taken a section x whose thickness is dx. This dx thickness is very small. Okay, here I have taken the magnifying view, but this dx is very small. Okay, so now we will forget our member, we will take care of this member only. Okay, and the thickness is dx is very small, so we can assume that this is a rectangular section. Okay, now the rectangular section we have assumed. Now for calculating the elongation, del will be equal to load P, because we have taken this section also, again the load P is acting. P, length of the member is dx divided by length of the member PL. How L is changed? Because the length of the member is now dx. PL divided by area, this let's say area is AX multiplied by E. This area is, let's say, AX multiplied by E. Now we have to calculate AX. Okay, now we have to calculate AX. For AX, pi by 4 into D square. So that will be dx square. Okay, that will be dx square. Okay, let's say we are talking about the d dash. We have taken d dash, pi by 4 into d dash square. Okay, now d dash square, how we are going to calculate the d dash? D dash we will calculate. Okay, now d dash we will calculate. D dash will be equal to, draw a parallel line here. We have taken a parallel line, so this value will be equal to d, this value will be equal to r. Let's say corresponding to this one we have r, and corresponding to this one we have capital R. Okay, so this will be equal to r. Now we have to calculate this value. Let's say this value is r dash. This value will be equal to, this value is equal to, here we are having capital R, this is capital R, from here to here this is capital R, this is R. So this value will be equal to R minus R. This value will be equal to R minus R. Corresponding to this one we have R dash. Okay, corresponding to this member, because we have taken d dash, so corresponding to d dash radius is R dash. So this value, this complete value is R, this complete value is R dash, R dash minus R. So this value is this value is R dash minus R, R dash minus R. Okay, now we are, these two triangles are the similar triangle. Okay, so we can write R dash minus R, R dash minus R divided by this length, and this length is x. Similar triangle property we are taking, and equal to this length divided by this one divided by this one. So this one is equal to r minus r divided by l, r minus r divided by l, because we have taken two similar triangle. Okay, so this one divided by this one equal to this one divided by this one. Okay, from here we can write r dash is equal to r plus r minus r by l multiplied by x. Okay, and in terms of d, we can write d dash is equal to multiplied by 2 on the left hand side and on the right hand side. This will be equal to d plus d minus d divided by l into x. So this is the diameter of this strip which we have taken. Okay, from here we can write that this one del will be equal to p into dx divided by area. Now area is coming pi by 4 into d square, and d square is d dash square, and d dash square is d plus d minus d by l into x whole square, pi by 4 into d square multiplied by e, or we can write 4p divided by pi e, 4p divided by pi e. Okay, and dx divided by d plus d minus d by l into x whole to the power 2. Okay, now we have to calculate the total length. Okay, for the total elongation we have to integrate both the terms. Okay, and integration we will take, let's say 0 to del t, and here at this point length is 0, l is equal to 0, and here l is equal to l, because we have taken variation in x. Okay, so variation in x means we have to take the value of l, so we will integrate it. So let's say del total is equal to 4p divided by, this is pi, 4p divided by pi e will come outside the integration, because these are constant with respect to length. Here we are having d